Hey guys, some of you might have seen that Del Bigtree's YouTube channel that Google owns has completely censored him and removed his YouTube channel. If you don't know who he is, he does this incredible show exposing all kinds of truth. One of the biggest things he focuses on is vaccine safety. Highly recommend that you check him out. And I've been thinking about this all morning, and I wanted to make this video to encourage you to not only go over to his page and send him some love, encourage him to keep going. I know that so many people right now are being censored and are being blocked, posts are being removed, accounts are being shut down, and it can be really discouraging because you spend a lot of time creating your content, doing your fact checking, doing your research, putting these videos out, and then having them remove you because you're speaking truth. And we saw this happen just this week on Facebook. I'm sure so many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Using the hashtag #SaveTheChildren. We're not talking about vaccines. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about Democrats versus Republicans. We're talking about hashtag #SaveTheChildren. For what? Exposing the exploiters, exposing human trafficking, exposing spirit cooking, exposing sex cults and human trafficking rings that are happening all over. This is what we're talking about, the torture of children that are being used in pedophilia, adrenochrome, all kinds of stuff. And Facebook this week deleted and censored posts that were using this hashtag because they said that it did not comply with Facebook community standards. And what happened? Enough people made noise, made complaints, spoke up, and Facebook reversed their decision. And that's what happens when we continue to speak up as a collective for justice, for freedom of speech, freedom in general. And so I want to encourage each of you to keep going. Please keep speaking up. Please keep telling the truth, exposing the lies and the deception that is taking place right now in our world. And while we're doing that, I want to gently remind us all, and myself included, that we need to be doing this from a position of love and light. Nobody wants to feel like you are yelling at them, and most people don't want to feel like they're being preached at. And you know what? Truth does not need us to do that. It is not our responsibility to convince people. Our responsibility is to convey truth, is to speak it, and let truth do what it's going to do. Some people might come across what you have to say, and you might be the person to plant that seed. And that person's going to walk away, maybe be perplexed by it, maybe be in disbelief by it. They might be challenging it, they might question it, and somebody else might come along saying similar things to you, and that just might be the water that they need to start growing this idea in them. We need to remember to give people the patience and the time and the space to arrive at understanding these truths, seeing these truths, or accepting them. And each of us are on a different journey, and it took time for me to get to where I'm at. Remember how long it took you to arrive to where you're at. And like I said, so many people are hearing this for the first time. Just this week alone, I had somebody DM me saying that for the first time ever, her husband and her have started to learn about the word adrenochrome and sex trafficking cults that are taking place in our world right now. And to somebody like myself, and maybe you watching this, you might have known this for a really long time. But there are still so many people that are just starting to learn about some of the evil and the depths of the evil that's happening right now in our world. And yet there's still so many more people to come that are going to need to learn, and they're going to need to hear, and that is going to be coming down the road. There's still so many people that need to wake up and see what's going on. And our responsibility is just to continue to be love and light in how we convey these messages. The other thing I want to share with you, friend, is please remember to fact check as best as you can. There's a lot of misinformation out there. I would encourage you to not use Google as your search engine. I use DuckDuckGo and also a site called Ecosia. ECOSIA, and they also plant trees for when you search, so go check them out. Another site is Brave. I've not used that, but I've heard that it is good. But do your research. There's so much evil and so much deception happening right now in the world. What we don't need is to bend the truth. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to give you an example. This week alone, I've been sent a whole bunch of posts, and one of these posts was from one of these bigger accounts. I'm not going to name who. And it was showing while we were all being distracted, which is true, they're always trying to distract us from something and what's actually going on. When you swipe through, it said, look at all of these arrests that took place. And they listed out all of the names of, majority was from the Democratic Party, names and charges that were being laid on multiple things, from sexual assault, raping of young girls, child pornography. As you guys know, I don't like using that word. It should be child rape images, child rape videos. But these were the charges that were being laid. And if you just went through it, you would go, what happened this week that nowhere in the mainstream media, and nobody period, reported that there was this massive takedown and arrests, or charges, I should say, not necessarily takedown, but these arrests of all of these people in government. And I just started to research the first 5 on the list of the posts that I was looking at. And these were charges that were laid from 2014, 2016, 2018. None from the first 5 I looked at were from 2020. And is this still horrendous that these people, predominantly men, were being charged with child abuse around sexual torture, rape, all that? Absolutely. It's horrendous. And we should be telling that more. But what we shouldn't be doing is make it seem like this just all happened this week and all of us missed it. That's not what we need to do. We need to stay steadfast to speaking truth and exposing the exploiters. And there's a proper way of doing that. Post that and say, I need to remind you of what is going on in government with politicians who have been elected to make decisions for our families, to make decisions for our school systems. And that needs to be a conversation, that we hold them accountable and that we expose that. But we need to continue to do it in truth. And so that is what I wanted to come on here right now and just say. I want to encourage you to keep going, keep doing your research, continue to expose people who are exploiting, expose the corruption. We need to rally together to stay united and not become divided. And the more that we all are seekers of truth, the more that that's actually going to happen. And we need to be this collective coming together to fight the deep state, to fight those that are really trying to push this Agenda 21 and to dismantle everything that we know around our freedoms, and liberties. So let's remain united, let's not be divided, and let's continue to speak up. So I leave it with you. Go do what you do, use your voice,